Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Leo here. Hope you guys are all doing well today. I have an unusual story for you guys today. Of course, I guess it seems to be the norm, doesn't it? At some point, if you do it enough, I guess it becomes usual, huh? But I am back today in my old hometown of Williamson, West Virginia, at the old Williamson Memorial Hospital. Quite literally where it all began. I was born right up there on the 3rd floor maternity ward. There's always someone to tell the story of the rich people, the famous people, you know, but who tells our story? Well, we do. We do. We have one for you today. We have, like I said, a very unusual story, a bizarre accident that, well, I guess probably the best way to do it would be to get right into the story. But before I do, I have one quick question. Have you ever hurt your finger and wondered if you might actually die from it? Well, most people probably never would, but if you think about it, pretty much every kind of death that you can imagine has actually happened to somebody at some point in time. This story is about a normal man like you or me, living the life of a coal miner, which was already dangerous enough. Men in coal mines feared slate falls, explosions, machinery accidents, and cave-ins, among other things. If they thought about death at all, they probably imagined something sudden and violent while they were deep underground. But Leonard Mount's story began with something that might not have seemed quite so deadly at first. A simple finger injury. Now, when you go to work every day, or even think back on jobs you had before retirement, did you face the possibility of death almost daily? You know, most people don't, but coal miners face death on the job every day. Doing these stories, you start to realize just how endless the mining deaths really were. Cave-ins, explosions, runaway mine cars, black lung disease, machinery accidents, gas, floods, electrocutions, and injuries that today might seem like they would be survivable. In the coal fields back in the day, danger most certainly was not a rare thing. Now, Leonard Mounts was 51 and from Red Jacket, West Virginia. Born on June 23rd in 1910, long before the bizarre accident that killed him. Mining had already been his way of life for a long time. When Leonard filled out his World War II draft registration on October 16th in 1940, he was already working as a coal miner for the Red Jacket Coal Company here in Mingo County, West Virginia. The card described him as standing 5 foot 5 inches tall and weighing 145 pounds, with brown hair, gray eyes, and a ruddy complexion. I'm assuming that's probably from his work underground. But either way, the point is, he was working as an Appalachian coal miner during the height of the coal boom years. In July of 1961, Leonard suffered a seemingly minor mining accident when a jack slipped and a mine car crushed the index finger on his left hand, causing a compound fracture. For about 20 days, Leonard battled the effects of that injury, but the damaged finger eventually developed tetanus, a deadly infection caused by bacteria entering the body through deep wounds, especially injuries contaminated by dirt or metal or dust, right? Tetanus attacks your nervous system and can cause severe muscle spasms, pain, lockjaw, difficulty swallowing, breathing problems, and violent convulsions. In mining accidents and industrial injuries, it was actually one of the most feared complications before modern medicines and emergency room treatments became available. The pain that Leonard must have endured is hard to even imagine. A crushed hand alone would have been agonizing, but tetanus is known for causing severe muscle spasms so violent that it can bend the body, it can lock the jaw shut, and even make swallowing or breathing painful. Patients often remained fully conscious through all of it, fully aware of every cramp, every tightening muscle, and every struggle for a breath of air. Around 9 days before his death, Leonard's condition worsened as the tetanus set in and spread throughout his system. In his final 4 days, he developed aspiration pneumonia, which is an inflammation of the lungs caused when fluids or other materials enter the airway, often happening in patients weakened by severe illness or muscle spasms. After nearly 3 weeks of suffering like this, Leonard died here at the Williamson Memorial Hospital in Williamson, West Virginia at 5:15 a.m. on July 31st in 1961. He was buried on August 2nd at Mountain View Memory Gardens in Huddy, Kentucky. Leonard was married to Louise Smith Mounts. According to her obituary, she lived to be 90 years old and was buried beside him at Mountain View Memory Gardens in Huddy, Kentucky. Sadly, neither Leonard or Louise appear to have a photographed headstone online for their find-a-grave listings. For two people who lived through the hardest years of southern West Virginia coal camp life, worked, struggled, and endured loss, it does make you stop and wonder, don't they deserve to be remembered too? So that's what we're doing today. We're out here and we're telling the story of Leonard. We're telling Leonard's story. And we share a lot, actually. We share a few things in common I can think of. I was born in the same place just a few years after his death, and we share a name for sure, and a lot of the same haunts, same ground. We walk the same ground that he walked. So, like I said, no one tells our story. It's always the rich, the famous, the powerful. But today, we're changing all that stuff. We're going to go find Leonard's grave. Now, I know where this cemetery is. I have been there before. I've visited several other graves there as well. I'm going to have to run down to Mountain View Memory Gardens, main office down here in town. And I'm going to go find a location and head on up and see if I can't find their grave, visit Leonard, and get a picture for their listings, for their legacy, their story. You know, like I've said before, you kind of die two deaths. You know, you die the one natural death, but then you kind of, in a way, you die another one when you're forgotten, when your memory is gone and you are truly, you know, you're truly wiped off the face of the planet at that point. You know, no one, your memory is gone, not just you, your memory. But that's what we're out here doing today, and that's why I started out up here. Well, it's a really pretty day for it to be doing it, but this is downtown Williamson, and I was way over that way up on top of the hill at the old hospital just a few minutes ago. But this right here is Mountain View Memory Gardens, and I just went in, and the girls, they're always really nice. You know, we've came down here and asked them for locations. They have 2 large graveyards nearby, and so I've had to come down and ask them for directions before, and they always make sure, you know, they print me out maps and everything. Can't beat that, can you? But anyway, thank you very much, Mountain View Memory Gardens. We just want to take a second to acknowledge them and say thank you for their contributions, and not just this video, but other ones as well. Okay, we are ready to head out and go find Leonard. Well, we have made it to Mountain View Memory Gardens. For a cemetery, it's a pretty place, isn't it? But anyway, I have an aunt and a cousin here as well, and like I said, we have done a couple stories here. But anyway, we have come for Leonard and Louise today. We're here for them, and if I am reading my map correctly, that should be that road, and this one going straight up. We should be right in here somewhere. Mounts. There they are. There they are, guys. Leonard and Louise Mounts, buried together. The coal miner who died from a finger injury. This kind of goes to show, I've told you guys many times about how dangerous it was, coal mining. And like I said, many people would probably expect, if they thought about death in the mines, if they thought about it, you know, you would probably expect sudden, something quick, a roof collapse, something like that, instant lights out, an explosion. You know, you most certainly wouldn't expect to break a finger and then develop tetanus and suffer tremendously. But here we are. Here we are, right? But we have, I suppose, guys, we have done just about all that we can do. You know, we can't change anything. We can't change the past. We can't change anything, really. The only thing we can do, like I said, is bring their memory back, you know, just for a few minutes, and maybe preserve their memory for just a little bit longer. Leonard and Louise Mounts, July 31st, 1961. Anyway, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed our little video, hearing our little story, and coming out and visiting Leonard and Louise, paying our respects. But thank you all, like I said, for coming along. Appreciate you, all of our viewers, all of our page members, Patreon supporters. You guys help keep us out here on the road, doing this stuff, telling these old stories. Until next time, guys, this is Leo with the Hillbilly Files. Leo out.